Hey everyone, so I've been saying this numerous times, but this video is dedicated for this topic alone, and that is on how amazing and fast the changes in our world are taking place to the point that they are exponentially increasing in speed. And because we're living in the moment, we don't notice these changes. And what happens is we take so many things for granted. And some people think that, oh, look at this generation or future generations, they take these things for granted. Heck, the people who said that oftentimes took these things for granted. And I feel like it's often not the person who's taking it for granted that's completely at fault. Oftentimes it's just that they're unaware of these changes, they're uninformed about them. They come out of the womb as a baby just uninformed, and no one really tells them or shows them or explains it to them what the heck's going on. And so I'm reading this book. It's called Money Master the Game by Tony Robbins, and he's a motivational speaker. He's worth $500 million, and there's this one page in this book that really just illustrates this concept, and I think it does a very good job of pretty much saying what I've been trying to say to you guys. And I fall in the trap oftentimes of forgetting this as well. But the general concept is that you living today have luxuries that the richest people in the world did not have years ago. Whether it's the richest pharaoh in Egypt 200, 500 years ago, 1,000, 10,000 years ago, they had thousands of slaves, but they didn't have some of the luxuries that we had that they would have paid a killing to have. Things like being able to fly in the sky in a chair or in a bed to another part of the world in just a few hours instead of months of fighting the oceans. He's talking about airplanes and cruise ships. Now you can do that for $4.94 on Virgin Atlantic Airways. And on and on and on. And things are just rapidly picking up. Nowadays, if you get scathingly burned and your face gets distorted from all the burn marks, now they have healthy stem cells that they can harvest from unburned patches of your own skin, culture them, and using a spray gun they could paint the wounds with a solution so that in a few days you're almost completely healed and you can barely see any scars. Now this is still developmental, but it's worked. There's actual videos online on YouTube showing that this has worked. And I think the biggest thing is not really realizing it and being grateful for it. And you can definitely fall into this because the more luxuries you have, it doesn't necessarily equate to more happiness. And therefore, people just naturally accept what they have, whether it's that mobile device, that touchscreen phone, or whatever it is, and they just take it for granted. And what they fail to realize is, heck, that pharaoh in Egypt, richest man in the world, if he had that tablet, sure, he would have had fun. He would have even paid hundreds of bars of gold for it back in that time and age. But would he have been more happier in the long run? Arguably not. Maybe ephemerally for the short term. And so that sort of affects the fact that we take things for granted. And it's one of those things that ends up pushing you and thinking, well, taking this, you just naturally take it for granted. And therefore, you don't express gratitude for it. And gratitude is one of those big things that triggers happiness based off psychological studies. So, long story short, I hope this message inspired you to really be grateful for what's going on. More so than that, it makes me feel very excited and just awe-inspired at what the future holds. And I think the biggest thing, though, is having said that, your life still can be not that great. I can understand that. Whether it's because maybe you don't have the money to pay the bills, or you don't have uh, something going on to meet your everyday necessities, or you wouldn't mind having slightly better quality things in your life because all the stuff you have is the lowest tier quality just to get by. You wouldn't mind a slightly nicer car. And I understand that as well. And so my other videos work on that subject. So check those out. But this one's just intended to inspire you and to make you realize that there's so many things out there that you guys take for granted. Heated water, mobile phones, air conditioning, shelter, electricity, lighting in the nighttime, access to books, clothing, food, entertainment online through the internet, access to all sorts of things on the internet, and on and on and on. And things are so taken for granted, and I don't think it's completely people's fault because they just don't realize it. And even though I've listed these big items, they're just the big items that I can pull up off the top of my head. There's so many small things that people fail to realize. Laundry, if you have a laundry machine or a dishwashing machine, those things weren't that available back in the day. And it goes even further. Things like your dishes that you use to eat food, or the ingredients in the food you eat. Almost all the products that you purchase, from random things like selfie sticks to take photos of yourself, to lipstick, to cheeseburger, to clothing you buy, the components of that come from all over the world because the global market has provided an environment where you can get them very cheaply based off all this transportation and shipping that's now taking place. So your clothing can come from all across the world. The products can come from China, Indonesia, Europe. Your food, heck, the tomatoes on the cheeseburger could be harvested from this country, and then the lettuce from another country. And so many things in your life right now have come literally, physically, from all these different locations in the world, which is just astounding. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys later.